Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us today for the next webinar in our What's New series. October brings with it the start of the cold weather and dark days, so grab yourself a hot drink and settle in. In today's webinar, we'll cover some of the newest features in Microsoft 365 that you can implement in your business, as well as covering some brand new features that are coming up in the next few months. Don't feel like you need to make notes or take it all in straight away, as we'll be sending out a recording of the webinar and a follow-up fact sheet later today. So if you have questions, please feel free to drop them into the Q&A box at any time, and I'll do my best to keep an eye on those as we go along, but there will also be dedicated time for questions at the end of the webinar. So let's take a look at the agenda for today. I've slightly tweaked it since I last emailed you, as there is a lot of content to get through regarding Copilot Wave 2. I'll be sure to include the other content I originally planned on a future webinar though. So the agenda. A roundup from the Microsoft event that took place last month, where they announced Copilot Wave 2, co-authoring on SharePoint pages, custom fonts in SharePoint Brand Center, and Microsoft Teams improvements on how you view images. And lastly, what's coming next. May not look as much as sometimes, but I promise you there's a lot of content in here. So let's just get into it. I'm going to start with an introduction quickly. So it's good to see so many people coming back and joining us again, and welcome to all of the new faces. My name is Craig Mundy, and I'm the Marketing Campaign Executive at Bedroq. You might recognize my voice from other videos on our website or YouTube channel. Bedroq is an IT managed service provider and Microsoft Solutions partner for modern work. This means that most of the IT we implement is based on the Microsoft stack. So that's things like Microsoft 365, Microsoft Teams, Azure, etc. We are also experts in secure, resilient networks and managed IT solutions where high performance is critical. So we work with organizations that have some of the highest security requirements in the UK, and we manage their mission critical IT and operational technology. The most important thing that we want to achieve, no matter what your organization does, is to make sure that your IT strategy is supporting your business as a whole. We do this with the help of our 8 strategic rocks that you can see here on the slide. Data, skills, backup, strategy, investment, security, quality of service, and collaboration. The collaboration rock is the focus of this webinar series, as most of the Microsoft 365 apps that we talk about are collaboration tools. Many people that we come across have invested heavily into their IT. They've bought all of the best apps, they've got the most expensive Microsoft licenses, but they're not using them to their full potential and therefore not seeing the best return on investment. So that's the aim of this webinar, to keep you up to date with everything that's coming out and everything that you can start to implement that you probably already have access to, and hopefully make a big difference to your business strategy. So I'm going to start off today's webinar with a roundup of features and updates discussed during Microsoft's event that took place last month. I think it was the 16th of September. So Microsoft announced multiple Copilot updates as part of their Wave 2 release. The first new feature that they announced was Copilot Pages, followed by Biz Chat. They talked about introducing changes to Microsoft Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and more as well. And lastly, they also announced this thing called Copilot Agents. So these updates are meant to be rolling out anytime now, between now and March 2025. So I'll be sure to keep an eye out for the latest information, and I'll always feed that back to you guys as well. Now, this may not have meant very much to you, but don't worry, I'm going to look at them in a bit more detail and explain what these updates might mean for you and your organization. This first feature is a rebrand to something you've probably already used. Microsoft Copilot Chat in Teams or on the web is now going to be called Biz Chat, which is short for Business Chat. The way in which we use it isn't really going to fundamentally change, however. But Biz Chat is at the center of Microsoft 365 Copilot. Grounded in both web and work data, Biz Chat helps you incorporate your work content, such as chats, email, and files. It's an extensive bit of software, and it can be accessed in the Microsoft 365 app and Microsoft Teams, as well as their web variants as well. This update isn't really changing much at the moment, but I wanted to highlight it as down the line, I'm sure they're going to start incorporating BizChat more, and now you have a bit more of an idea of what it is if you see the word BizChat, as it's kind of come out of the blue. Following on from the new form of Copilot chats, BizChat, comes Copilot pages. These have been announced to fill a gap. Which gap is that, I hear you ask? Well, Microsoft have said that users have found it difficult to share their Copilot results and to keep on top of their multiple searches across different apps. So Copilot pages will act as a shared canvas to bring all of your ideas together in real time. As normal with Copilot, you give it your prompt, you get your results, but then you can turn it into a Copilot page so that you can keep working. You can then share this page with and all of the information that you've got so far and ask your colleagues to input. So you can do so by clicking in the top right-hand corner, typing in the names, and this tags them in it. They'll then be able to immediately contribute, and you'll be able to see their edits in real time. You may have also noticed in this video that's looping that you can export Copilot pages as a Microsoft Loop component as well. This feature, the Copilot pages, is clearly built upon Loop in the way that you add content to a shared page, build it out with colleagues, and copy it into other apps across Microsoft 365. I think that there is some real potential here to smooth out the sharing of Copilot responses and information. However, it might just be stepping on the toes of Loop and other collaboration tools that Microsoft already have, that we already use in our day-to-day lives. I suppose the main draw is having it all in one place, though, right next to your Copilot questions and results. Now, I'm sure many of us use Microsoft Outlook on an almost daily basis, if not every single day. So this next feature with Copilot Wave 2 sounds like a very interesting one to me. Perhaps you're like me and you like to keep on top of your inbox, but sometimes when you send out mass emails or you get added into an email chain, or even just when you come back from holiday, then sometimes your inbox can be a bit of a mess. Now, this is where the new Copilot feature will come in. They're calling it Prioritize My Inbox, which should do exactly that. It'll let you highlight specific emails that you should focus on. It's going to be a more advanced version of the things we already do, like categories and flagging important emails. But Copilot will be able to summarize those emails as well. So at a glance, you'll be able to see which emails you need to prioritize. Furthermore, you can build out your own rule set as well for Copilot to help it learn more about your inbox. Things like a high priority customer contact that you have been waiting for a response from. This can be sent to set to high priority, and some of the other contacts or responses, emails coming in, can be set more accordingly to a lower priority. Now, this genuinely looks like a really impactful update. If it works as demonstrated, as it did in their event, then we'll all be able to save a lot of time from trawling through overflowing inboxes, through setting up priority rules and having Copilot automatically summarize your important emails. Next up, let's take a look at the updates coming to PowerPoint as part of Copilot Wave 2. There are two parts to this announcement. We have Narrative Builder, and I'll talk about it just shortly, Brand Manager. Copilot in PowerPoint probably has the weakest capabilities so far. I mean, I've personally used it to help me break the white space when starting a new PowerPoint from scratch, but I still end up having to heavily edit, reorganize, and recreate the majority of the content it produces, to be honest. So the hopes with the new narrative builder in PowerPoint, when you give it a task of creating the PowerPoint deck, this will hopefully smooth out this entire process. So after you've given it the prompt, it will show you the content on the slides based off of your prompt first, just in a text format. Then from there, you're able to reorganize the content as you see fit, as well as add further slides with additional prompts, for example, by referencing some of your other files, which may be relevant to your slide deck. I think that honestly, we'll probably need to wait and see what narrative builder capabilities are really like on release before I get too excited about this. During their event, it sounded great and it looks really nice in the video, but as I said earlier, the current Copilot capabilities in PowerPoint are a bit lackluster, so I'm not holding my breath on this one. I do think, however, that this does have potential to be a great new feature that anyone looking to create on-brand presentations, just for anyone across the team, basically. It doesn't always have to be your marketing team, perhaps. Now, I'll be sure to have a play around with this when there's more information that gets released when the update comes out, and I'll be sure to let you know my thoughts on it as well. As I said, that's not all for PowerPoint announcements, though. With the new Brand Manager, Copilot will be able to use your company's branded PowerPoint templates, so your presentations are customer ready and on brand. Soon, Copilot will pull in company approved images from your SharePoint organization asset library, and then it can use them as part of the results it offers you when you're using the designer feature and asking Copilot to create your presentation. Just as a quick aside note, in case you've not used it, the designer feature I just mentioned is something we've had access to for a while. It's generally more of an annoying pop-up at the moment in its current state, especially if you're using your pre-made templates. But ideally, it's supposed to offer you suggestions of different layouts to help you keep your presentations looking its best. So while the jury may be out on the narrative builder, the brand manager capabilities are something that the community and myself have been wanting for a really long time. As a marketer, a big part of the role is to keep your customer-facing content on brand and recognizable. So to do so, we have the ability to set up templates that anyone can use across your organization, but they are somewhat limited currently. Having this new ability to create a brand-approved asset library that Copilot can pull images from is an exciting prospect to me. If it works as seamlessly as it does in the video demo, then this could be a game changer, saving us time and headaches of fine-tuning presentations on the deadline. Microsoft Word is also receiving some Copilot updates. So this new experience should help you jumpstart your writing journey and allow you to create content quicker. When using Word, I often need to bring content in from other documents and apps, but searching for and incorporating the information you need can be time-consuming and disrupt my writing flow. So Copilot in Word will enable you to quickly reference not only web data and work data like Word, PowerPoint, PDFs, and encrypted documents, but also emails and meeting notes as well. It integrates this information so that you can get a good first draft and quickly. For example, if you've had Copilot keep a track of recent meeting notes, you can link to this and create content based around the discussion points from that meeting. Microsoft, that is, they've said that they've improved Copilot in Word to be a better writing partner. So we can take that with a pinch of salt, but with these recent updates, including a better starting experience when you're looking at the blank page, with more variety and better suggested prompts to jumpstart your creative process. Basically, we're going to be getting a few more options to help us quickly create content in Word with Copilot, which is never a bad thing, as I say, that blank page can be quite a daunting prospect sometimes. These features should be available now, to all Copilot license users. Another fan favorite of the Microsoft 365 apps is receiving Copilot updates as well, Excel. So now Copilot can work with data that hasn't been formatted as a table. This may sound like a small thing, but it was one of the main gripes across the community trying to speed up their projects on Excel. So firstly, you have to format your data into a table, then using a Copilot prompt. It basically just took much longer than probably a quick Google of what you were trying to do. Excuse me one second, I'll have a drink. So they're also adding some new skills to tap into the full power of Excel with support. from formulas like cross lookup and SUMIF and conditional formatting, and the ability to iterate with Copilot. So for things like your visuals, you're able to keep iterating it until it looks like you're expecting it to. Copilot in Excel can now work with text in addition to numerical data. So for example, if you've got rows of data built on text with something like results from a form survey, Copilot will now be able to do things like summarize and understand the results, again, without it needing to be in a table format. This is a great step forward in the way that Copilot works in Excel, as again, it's probably been one of the weaker instances of Copilot so far. This feature, Copilot for Excel, should now be generally available. But that's not all for Excel. We will soon have Python capabilities within Excel. So in case you don't know, Python is a coding language used for software development, automation, mathematics, and so much more. But don't worry, anyone will be able to work with Copilot to conduct advanced analysis like forecasting, risk analysis, machine learning, and visualization of complex data as well. And you can do all of this just by using natural language. So it means that you don't actually need any coding knowledge to get started. Furthermore, it will be able to build out charts, analyze your data, and do it in a much better way than we've previously seen from Copilot, which gives us more advanced capabilities without needing to actually write code yourself. If you do know a thing or two about Python, though, then you are able to edit the lines of code that it produces directly from within the Excel spreadsheet. It certainly sounds like they're adding some real power to Excel, which will hopefully give us all better insights into our data and improve the way in which we handle and present our data as well. Again, if it's as good as it sounds, this will be a big improvement in the way that Copilot works within Excel, saving us all some time and stress. I am genuinely interested to see how in-depth and accurate the coding capabilities are, as if you've ever dabbled in it, you know how temperamental and complicated it can be. So let's hope it doesn't bring those issues with it as well. This feature with Copilot in Excel with Python is currently in public preview. Okay, so we're still on the Copilot Wave 2 updates, and the next one is what was announced for Microsoft Teams. This is a smaller update, perhaps, than some of the ones that I've just talked about, but nevertheless, I think it should be quite an important one. So this change comes to meeting recaps. If you've used this previously, you may have noticed that Copilot only takes into consideration the spoken transcript. And this means that if you were to ask Copilot for a summary of events from a recent meeting, it will quickly create a short summary of everything that was said. However, the recap would not include anything that was asked, answered, or typed into the chat during the meeting. With this new update, Copilot and Microsoft Teams will now have access to that chat within your meeting. So once the update goes live, when you ask questions later through Copilot, it will no longer just be restricted to the meeting recap capabilities. So it will have, it'll be able to give you a complete picture of what was discussed. Both what was said and what was typed will be scanned to ensure that nothing is missed. If this is a feature you already use for your meeting notes, recaps, or just if you've missed a meeting, then this sounds like it will only improve that experience for you. And again, this should be generally available now. All right, we're coming to the end of the Wave 2 announcements, and with that comes Copilot agents. Now, this doesn't mean a lot currently, but it may have, you've probably come across something similar, these similar automated systems when you've used basically any big website, any big provider on the internet. You know, that little window that pops up in the bottom right-hand corner that asks if you need any help, and you can type in a question, it'll point you in the right direction, whether it's a web page or a form to fill out or putting you in touch with a real operator. Well, in Microsoft 365 apps, these are essentially going to be AI assistants that are designed to automate and execute business processes and answer questions from your staff across the organization as well. They will have a wide variety of capabilities, from a simple prompt and response agent, support your job in doing your monotonous or repetitive tasks, to even more advanced, fully autonomous agents carrying out actions through Power Automate. There will be some pre-built agents, like the visual creator agent, which is an AI image generator. And you will also be able to fully customize your own Copilot agents through the agent builder. So through this being the builder, you will be able to quickly give your agent all of the information it might need to be able to carry out the tasks you plan for it. You can make them as straightforward or as advanced as you see fit. So for example, it can go from giving it access to a SharePoint folder that has your HR policies in it, to connecting it to other sources of data, to giving it a name and a tone of voice for its responses as well. Now, this is another update that has a lot of potential, as it can free up your precious time from doing all those monotonous or tedious tasks. This might become the default place to ask your stupid questions and get pointed in the right direction, so you're not nagged by that one colleague of yours that can never find a file. This update, Copilot agents and Agent Builder in BizChat, remember that from earlier, will be rolling out in general availability to everyone over the coming weeks. However, the Copilot agents and Agent Builder in SharePoint will enter that public preview in early October. So we'll just have to keep an eye out for it. As I said, this is the end of the Wave 2 announcements, but I'll be sure to include a link to the full event that was on YouTube in the follow-up email that I'll send out later today, in case you want to find out more from them or watch the full event. It was about 30 minutes long. So we still have a little bit of time to talk through some other updates that weren't involved in the Copilot Wave 2 announcements. This update to SharePoint allows multiple authors or people to edit a page simultaneously. Before the rollout, only one author could edit a page at a time, and during an author's editing session, no other user could make changes until the author had published or saved the draft. After the rollout, however, multiple authors will be able to edit a page or news post simultaneously with each other. The important thing here is that co-authoring will roll out to all new and existing pages and news posts, so the feature will be available to all users at the same time. You'll be able to see when other authors are editing with the page presence in the command bar. So that's in the top right-hand picture of the screenshot here, the three little bubbles with their profile pictures in it. It's also important to note here that co-authors are able to edit the same page and even the same section at the same time. However, you're not able to edit the same web part simultaneously. So my understanding of that is one step back when you're initially creating the page and you're putting in the blocks of the coding, I suppose, to know what kind of content can go in what area. That can only be done by one person currently. If an author, however, attempts to publish a post or post a page while others are actively editing, the author will see a warning message that others are editing. However, if desired, the author can proceed with publishing and posting, and the same behavior applies to scheduling and submitting for approvals. Now, if you spend a lot of time building these SharePoint pages, you'll know the frustration of having to be the only person pulling it all together. And once you have done your bit, you need to save, exit, to let someone else in to review and or edit it further as well. So it becomes quite a lengthy process in that sense. So this will hopefully be a really nice bit of quality of life coming to SharePoint to hopefully just smooth this process out a little bit and speed up building pages collaboratively. This update is due anytime now, between now and late October. I previously talked about the new brand manager in PowerPoint. Well, a smaller and somewhat similar update is also coming to SharePoint in the near future. Microsoft SharePoint introduces custom fonts through the SharePoint Brand Manager, allowing organizations to express their brand creatively on sites and pages. So brand managers can upload and manage fonts in the brand center, creating custom font packages for SharePoint and Viva Connection desktop experiences as well. Obviously, there will be default Microsoft font packages that are already provided, and the feature is available by default with no admin action required. So that's always great news to hear. It's not the biggest update, but for marketers like myself, it's important to keep things consistent where we can. So this is ideal for making sure that everyone understands the look and feel of your default fonts internally, but also if you use SharePoint to share things with your external customers as well, then this is crucial to keep everything on brand just how we like it. This update is, again, due anytime now and mid-October. And here's another small update, but a welcomed improvement nevertheless. Currently in Teams, to access images or photos that have been shared with you previously, you'll have to search far and wide for them. And then once you do find it, and you can access it, download it as necessary, but if you're looking for some other photos that were shared at a similar time, you'll have to come out of it and scroll up and down a bit and try and find it. However, once this rolls out, when there are multiple images within a chat, a user will be able to view and, more importantly, cycle through the images throughout the entire chat, that is. So the images will be deep linked, so that if you click into it or want to find the source, then it will take you to the specific time in the chat where the image was provided. So you'll also be able to find messages that were sent around a similar time to give you more context as well. This, in my eyes, is the definition of quality of life. It's not fully necessary, and you'll absolutely forget that it wasn't the norm quite quickly. But it is an overall improvement in the way that we use Teams, and I look forward to many more updates like these that can help everyone on the day-to-day basis, just saving bits of time here and there. Similarly to the last update, this one is due between now and mid-October. Okay. So that's us for today. I just wanted to quickly let you know about the next webinar in this series that will be coming next month. So it'll be taking place on Thursday, the 7th of November. And you can register for that now on our website or through the link that my colleague has posted into the chat box just now. We look forward to seeing you there. And if there are any topics or questions you wish me to cover, then during this next webinar, then please get in touch and I'll be happy to have a look and have a chat with you as well. That should be the link in the chat now. So if you want to make sure that you have this just saved in your diary at least, please go ahead and register just now. Remember that all of these webinars are recorded and accessible through our YouTube channel and website. So make sure to have a look through those as well if you're interested in learning more about some of the previous topics that we've covered. I'll now quickly take you through our stakeholder workshop that Bedroq run called the 8 Rocks Assessment. It goes back to the 8 Rocks Assessment that I talked about at the very, very beginning of the webinar. This is a stakeholder workshop designed to get consensus on your business priorities. It can be conducted face-to-face or virtually, and it gets leaders and investors aligned behind the best way to fully assess your IT strategy. There's no cost implications with this other than a mutual investment of time at that stage. So, if you're an IT leader at your organization and you need a bit of backup to prove to your CFO that you need to make an investment into your IT, or if you're looking at improving the way that you currently use your existing investments, well, we're happy to look at all of these things and anything in between. So let us know if this is something that might interest you, and we'll be happy to set this up, and we'll introduce you to the team that will walk you through this process. So we have a bit of time for Q&A. So if you have any more questions that have come to mind, please just pop them in the Q&A box at the side, and I'll happily have a read through it and see if there's anything there. So let's see if anything has come through. Okay. Doesn't look like we've got anything today, so we'll just move on as we are running out of time anyway. So if you have any more questions, perhaps ones that come to you while you're looking through the fact sheet or while you're watching the Microsoft event later on today, then please feel free to reply to the email that I'll send out after this, a bit later on this afternoon. I'll be happy to help you with any queries about the content that was in this webinar or anything else. And we'll happily take a look at anything you're suggesting for us to cover in the future as well. So again, thank you very much for joining us today, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Goodbye.